Today, you grab a cold soda, drive on clear roads, and eat fresh food any day. But not long ago, your world was slow, hard, and hot. The jump from that life to this one wasn't by chance. It was made by hidden minds who gave us big ideas we now take for granted. It's easy to forget that just about everything we use was once a wild, new idea. Take sliced bread. Seems obvious, right? But when the first automatic slicer was invented back in 1928, people literally thought it was a joke, just a passing fad. Then, within months, bread sales shot up 2,000%. It completely changed how America eats. Or how about air conditioning? It wasn't even made for us. It was built to control the air in a printing factory. But that one idea is the only reason cities like Phoenix and Houston could boom into what they are today. These aren't just random inventions. They're the secret building blocks of our modern world, and the stories behind them are almost totally forgotten. So today, we're digging them up. But perhaps the most incredible and most invisible of all these systems is the one that feeds America. Think about it. 100 years ago, what you ate was completely dictated by the season. If you wanted strawberries, you had to wait until summer. And if they weren't grown nearby, you were out of luck. Food spoiled incredibly fast, which meant your options were whatever was local and whatever was fresh right now. That all changed because of a man named Clarence Birdseye. In the 1920s, Birdseye was on a trip in the Arctic and noticed how local Inuit fishermen were preserving their food. They'd catch a fish, and in the freezing air, it would turn solid almost instantly. Months later, when they thawed that fish, it tasted perfectly fresh. It wasn't mushy or bland like the slow-frozen food back home. The secret, he realized, was speed. Freezing it fast locked in the flavor and the texture. So he went back to the US and built a machine that could do the exact same thing. He called it the quick freeze process. And just like that, the world changed. Suddenly, you could buy fresh-tasting peas in the middle of January. You could have strawberries in December. For the first time, a person's diet wasn't limited by the calendar or their zip code. This one idea created the entire frozen food aisle in your grocery store. It was the beginning of a system we now call the cold chain, a massive, invisible network of refrigerated trucks, warehouses, and grocery freezers that gets food from the farm to your table. It's another one of those moments of forgotten genius, a system so successful, we don't even see it anymore. We just open the freezer and expect the whole world to be there. But what about getting all that stuff, and ourselves, from one place to another? Today, we just hop in a car. But before the 1950s, driving across America was a nightmare. The roads were a chaotic patchwork of local routes. A trip from New York to California could take weeks, navigating confusing city streets and bumpy country lanes. It was slow, it was inefficient, and it held the country back. The big change came from an idea President Dwight D. Eisenhower saw during World War II. He was amazed by Germany's high-speed highway network, the Autobahn. He saw how it could move troops and supplies with incredible speed, and he knew America needed something similar. So in 1956, he launched one of the biggest public works projects in human history, the Interstate Highway System. The plan was to build tens of thousands of miles of wide, fast, direct roads connecting every major city in the country. And it completely reshaped America. Suddenly, a cross-country drive that took weeks now took just a few days. Shipping goods became cheaper and faster, which supercharged the economy. It gave birth to whole new industries, from fast food chains to roadside motels. The classic American road trip? That exists because of the interstate. It was a brilliant engineering solution that literally paved the way for modern America. But this incredible progress came at a huge cost. To build these massive concrete rivers, entire neighborhoods were bulldozed. In city after city, these new highways cut right through communities, often dividing them forever or wiping them out completely. It's another one of those systems we now take for granted. We use it every single day, but it was built on a complicated past, and it reminds us that creating the modern world is never as simple as just laying down some pavement. But building a modern country isn't just about moving people around. It's about where they can live and work. For most of American history, the weather was the boss. Huge parts of the country, think Florida, Arizona, Texas, were just too hot for too long. In the summer, life slowed to a crawl. The heat wasn't just uncomfortable. It made building big cities or running major industries almost impossible. But the solution to this massive problem didn't come from some grand plan to conquer the climate. It came from a printing shop in Brooklyn. In 1902, an engineer named Willis Carrier was hired to solve a very specific problem. The summer humidity was so bad, it was messing up the ink and paper at the printing plant. His solution was a machine that could control the air, pulling the moisture out. He wasn't trying to make people comfortable. He was trying to make the printing press work properly. He had invented modern air conditioning. At first, it was just an industrial tool. But then, people realized what it could do. It started showing up in movie theaters and department stores, places you could go to escape the heat. Then, slowly but surely, it made its way into American homes. And that changed everything. Suddenly, you could live anywhere. The scorching summers of the South and Southwest were no longer a barrier. This one invention triggered one of the biggest migrations in American history. Cities like Phoenix, Houston, and Miami went from being sleepy towns to booming megacities. The entire region we now call the Sun Belt became an economic powerhouse, attracting millions of people and countless businesses. Without air conditioning, that entire part of the American map as we know it simply wouldn't exist. It's another one of those quiet, invisible forces that didn't just improve our lives. It decided where we would live them. Our modern world, from the food we eat to the roads we drive, and even where we can live, rests on incredible, often forgotten inventions. Their quiet impact has completely reshaped daily life. Consider the simple seatbelt, saving millions of lives. Or the barcode, which created modern shopping and huge stores. Even air conditioning helped entire regions boom into today's megacities. America is built on these unsung ideas. Every simple convenience hides a moment of forgotten genius, showing how much hidden engineering still shapes our world. The next time you enjoy that cold drink, cruise down the highway, or relax in a cool room, remember the hidden minds that made it all possible. It makes you wonder what other invisible forces are quietly building the future around us. If you're ready to keep uncovering these surprising stories and look beyond what we take for granted, hit subscribe. We've got more secrets to uncover.